Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Tuesday topic here on Patreon for you beautiful people. We've had a video win. Jack has been in touch.
Alright lads, Jack here in sunny New Zealand. Here's an idea for a Tuesday topic. What would you say, or who would you say, is the biggest waste of talent or missed opportunity for any players that we'd signed or came through the academy that you just didn't quite work out despite all the promise? Gerard Deulofeu for me. All the talent in the world, just didn't have the work ethic. Interested to know what you think. See you.
That's a good question. I like. It's nice to have a question that isn't sort of absolutely relevant at this time. It doesn't always have to be about the here and now. It can be about something that's happened. The then, yeah. But also though, it does have it is relevant.
Of course, it's relevant
to things here and now. Yeah. So I mean, who would be the biggest culprit, or is there a biggest culprit?
Culprit's a bit harsh because culprit suggests that
they're a bastard,
or
they're guilty.
It's the guilty of something that it's been down to them. That
some people have, which we'll come on to.
Of course, we'll go on, but sometimes other things will take over, or misfortune, or whatever. But or just weren't as good as the hype. I suppose is one of the biggest things, isn't it?
As Flavor Flav said, don't believe the hype.
That's it. See, a lot with that desperate at times for the next best thing, the next big thing coming through, and we all love these stories of this kid who's tearing it up in the youth teams, coming through, and everyone's excited. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, the only player that's ever got close to that hype that I've seen in 40 years of watching Everton is Wayne Rooney, and he was talked about being involved in the first team at 14.
I heard about Wayne when he was in embryo.
Yeah,
there was talk of
when his dad just finished that night. It was. Well, I was at Southampton when he was on the bench. They'd had to take him out of school the day before. Steve Watson scored Saturday night at 5:30. Yeah, we went. Me and my mate went to Southampton, and Wayne, the reception he got was incredible. He never actually got on the pitch, but he warmed up for a bit. And I remember the first time he jogged down, we all stood up and clapped, and he was like, you could see he was looking as if like
we all knew, didn't we?
But we knew, and we'd seen and heard about him, and I remember. I was working there at the time, and I remember Walter Smith had asked for permission to play him against Ipswich
when he was 15.
When he was 15, and Everton, the school refused, and Everton, the Premier League, you had to get special dispensation, and there was a lot of messing around, and as it happened, we lost the game as well. We lost 1-0. Matt Holland scored, and I just think it wouldn't have been the right time to put him in at that moment of pressure. But he built, and then he obviously had that FA Youth Cup performance against Spurs and all that, and then. We know how that played out, but he's been the only one, I would say, in all of my time of supporting Everton that has been talked about as this kid. There's been players who've been good players. But
being here, there's only two names that I would ever say there was a real hype about. One played for Everton, one played for Liverpool. Wayne was ours, and when I say hype, I just remember. Everybody knowing. Everybody knew that there was a kid. This kid was going to be
a superstar.
Yeah, everybody knew. And the other one was Michael Owen. I remember the same kind of buzz about Michael Owen. I remember just people just saying, don't worry. It's like it's going to. It was going to happen for him. It wasn't like a. There's people on this list that will. Come to, and you were like, oh, he's got a good goal record, or he was great for England under 16s or the schoolboys. But with those two players, it was the closest you could be to guaranteed, because they were that good. People had seen.
And, to be fair, I knew about Robbie Fowler as well. Knew that he was very good, and they were really excited about him. Everton tried to get him actually. Liverpool tried to swap Robbie Fowler for Tony Grant when they were 15. And it didn't happen, obviously. I mean, I've played with some good players who went on to be fantastic. Stephen McMahon played with Steve years ago, and people like that, you know, played against Ryan Giggs and people who were coming through. But at Everton, you're right. I mean, Michael Owen, there was the other one where everyone spoke about it, because even someone like Steven Gerrard, who was being, you know, a marvellous footballer for Liverpool, it was just this kid's good. And I remember seeing him in a European game, and I thought, oh, he looks like a good player. There was no guarantees with that, and he got better and better, obviously. And like I say, people have had good careers from it, you know. But in terms of ones where it's like there's the hype that went with it, we see it the other way. There's loads of hype and they don't actually live up to it, you know. And I think the ones who've had the best careers have been people like Leon Osman, who you knew was a good footballer, coming through Tony. But you know, we've had lads who've come through, them two being probably the best example of coming through and having a long career, certainly in Everton, you know. But like you say, Wayne was probably the only superstar we've produced.
I think the problem is that a lot of them play at a level where obviously they can excel because of their speed or because of their physique or whatever, and then suddenly when they have to step up to a men's game and it mightn't be an advantage, and then suddenly they have to deal with the fact that they're not better than everybody else and don't know what to do with that. And then how do you deal from, you know, going from mentally from being a big fish to just another player, and a player that is asked to do you know, sit on the bench, and how do you cope with that? And I think a lot of players haven't been able to cope with that. Haven't been able to cope with the harsh realities of being an adult. Suddenly things meaning something. You know, youth football is all about talent. It's all about making talent. It's not actually about results. I mean, there's the, you know, adage of there could be 10 players in a football team who are all there just to serve the needs of one player. You know, because at the end of the day, that's what a youth team is, in the most part. You how many players out of a youth team are actually going to go into the first team? There's not many. So you know, you've got one real talent. It's why we're seeing a lot of clubs going away from youth football, because they're just like, well, what's the point? We're paying all this money out. So what they might do, if they see a special talent, they might say, well, you can go straight into the reserves or whatever, rather than being in the youth sides.
Yeah, it's tough, because obviously some clubs will take X amount in the hope that 3 or 4 of them might, you know, listen, talking Premier League level, how many make it? Less than 1%, wasn't it, or something of whatever. So you'll have people who will come through, like you said, and if they are the one player out of an 18-man squad or a 16-man youth side, that one player will get through to that first team. But other players can make that academy or make that club money because they become footballers and they move on.
Well, of course.
And that's essentially what it's all about. But you're right, in general, you know, we talk about Man United, who had the class of 92. But how often has that happened?
Well, I suppose in football as well, and I think this is something we've gone away from, and I think a lot of football clubs have got to start readdressing. It's something that certainly, and I think I mentioned this on a video last week, it's something certainly Jurgen Klopp, one of his first things he did when he came into Liverpool, was he looked at the academy and said, what's the academy doing for us? Because the German model is, for a lot of the top clubs, is 6 players. 2 for the first team, 2 for internationals, and 2 go to another first team in the Bundesliga. So it's how it'd be interesting to know how if a academy had to run separately from a first team. It'd be interesting, and I suppose that's what a lot of them should be doing.
But I think ours is the best, if not or one of the best, in terms of producing footballers. I don't think there's any producing players.
But imagine if it was run from a business point of view. Because I remember when I was younger, and one of my mates was at Crewe, and he'd been at Everton, and he'd been at Everton and Liverpool, and he'd been let go. He was a little bit smaller. He was a great footballer. He was a little bit small though. Probably now he'd make it because he had a great left foot. He went to Crewe, And I remember them. They had brilliant facilities, and they were like, Rob Jones paid for that. Like when they sold Rob Jones, or so and so paid for that, or we've got that because exactly that's what it was like. It was like they
had a few, didn't
but that's what I'm saying. They had the conveyor belt. They kept the lights on,
Craig Hignett,
and helped create the facilities for the next set of kids. And the problem has been in terms of football in the last 15, 20 years is that we've lost that conveyor belt because of greed, and it's as simple as that. I don't buy into this foreigner thing, right? Because for me, we buy foreigners, average foreigners, because they're cheaper than Championship or League One. We lost the path because those clubs started asking for silly money, and when they started asking for silly money, because there was silly money at the top, I know that, but when they started asking silly money for average players, the Premier League just went, we'll go to Scandinavia, we'll go to the market just kept on opening up. It was Scandinavia.
So you get internationals.
Exactly. So we started. So in the early part of the Premier League, you've seen a big influx of Scandinavian players, and then we moved on to
a few Italians, and
Eastern Europe, Czechoslovakia, the old Czechoslovakia countries,
Romania,
old Yugoslavia, and all all these different. We just started going there instead of going. And then what happened was we started going to like Spain and getting decent players from Spain cheap, and all these different places. And then those clubs are still scratching their heads, going, "Why is the arse dropped out of football?" Because greed at both ends, of course, helped it. So,
but there also there's a responsibility from football as well, because I think everyone is very good at head in the sand stuff. We've got a campaign on Twitter that's there all the time, Save Grassroots Football. It only wants 100,000 signatures. I'm amazed, I'm absolutely baffled how it hasn't got 100,000 signatures, and yet someone like fucking Kardashian can put like, she'll wear black knickers or white knickers and it'd get 100,000 in about an hour. And yet every one of us on Twitter, football fans, every one of us played, or a lot of us play football at grassroots level, of course we did. Kids nowadays, you see some of the pictures that are posted, it's just a joke, like, and the football has a
the thing about it is, right, you're absolutely right, and the thing about it is, what I would say as well is that any player that has made it, I would like to think, had to tough it out. Wayne Rooney is a product of his environment. Steven Gerrard is a product of his environment. They had to tough it out.
From Liverpool, loads from height.
Exactly. They had to tough it out on shit pitches, shit, and what I'm saying, and they shouldn't have to have those levels. I mean, we're not far from good pitches down Springwood down there, that has just been done over, and it looks brilliant. And then there's another one, Jeffrey Humbles, which has just had good pitches. But what I noticed was, because they've got good pitches, they put the price up.
Really well.
But they put the price up, and some of those pitches are not good. Some of them are good, and the changing rooms are now good, but some of them are crap. So you've got.
But that needs to be subsidised by the clubs.
Yeah,
it does. Footballers should have to pay money into the fund, because that's how they come through wherever they are. It's just,
well, it's interesting.
It's ridiculous. Like.
Interesting that I know we're going way off topic here. We will get back onto it in a minute. It's interesting in Holland, teams in the Champions League have decided they're going to start putting money for that they got in the Champions League back into Dutch football as a whole. I mean, we'll talk about that more about that in the footy show. So come on, let's have a little look.
So let's go back.
So I mean, one from the early 90s, and you know what, this might be a player that a lot of Evertonians don't know about. Billy Kenny, young local lad, man of the match in the first televised Premier League derby that Everton won 2-1. Peter Beardsley with the winning goal with about 9 minutes to go.
Yeah,
man of the match that night.
He was.
Really, really good centre midfield prospect. Had a brilliant passing range. Had a good physique to play in the centre of the park. Had everything about him.
He was a bit like Wayne Rooney, Billy Kenny,
prototype.
Just like that kind of. He could look after himself. Very clever footballer. I played a few games with him, and he was an intelligent footballer. when he played in the fit. Like, I played with him, and you were like, yeah, he's good, but he played up front with me, and I scored 3 and he scored 1. We won 4-0 a couple of games, and he was like, yeah, he's a good player. He can see. When he played for Everton, it was like, I was like, oh my God, look at him, because he's one of them players that his natural ability then came out with better players. That derby match you're talking about, he was unbelievable, centre of the park, just picking the passes. He was fantastic, but just the demons that.
Well, he got an injury, didn't he? Got an injury. He got an injury that was, well, I think it left him off for 6 months, something like that. Saying to, well, got bored, essentially.
Yeah.
Got bored. Mate started saying to him, do you want to come down here? You know, come for a drink on the afternoon. Drink led to coke. And next minute, you know,
problems.
You've got a player, his early 20s, earning a little bit of money with a really bad coke habit, and unfortunately,
it got the better of him.
It got the better of him and finished him off. You know, he went to Oldham, and then the same problem reared its head. And I remember seeing him on a few Sunday mornings, massively overweight, still running games without a problem. Because he was just a really good footballer. But you think, what if? And I know, and what I would say about the prototype Wayne Rooney is that people like Wayne Rooney have got the benefits of the problems that have happened to kids like him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the first, and he's certainly not the last. We know there's recent examples of this, maybe for slightly different reasons, but you know, really sad, because the fact he was one of them as well that locally everybody knew.
Yeah. You know what?
But
His dad played for Everton, didn't he?
His dad was a window cleaner by ours, I think.
Sure, his dad had been at Everton.
Yeah, I think he had.
He was a good player.
Kenny Senior.
Yeah.
But everybody knew. Everybody knew in Liverpool. But at the club were like, oh, he's got this and that, and then, you know, it got out, and I think he told the story himself, saying, you know. But it's sad, because even that, you look at sort of another player who's not on your list, which would be Jose Baxter, who essentially fell into the same trap.
I don't think he was as he was nowhere near as good as Billy.
No.
He was a good.
But he fell into the trap, and now
with
with education and things, we're a little bit more down the line on these things. We're you know, they're not just cast aside now. Football clubs know they've got.
Well, Everton done probably above and beyond with Josie, didn't he? He took him back, trained them, let him play in the 23s. People were losing their minds at first, but it was done to get him a club. That was the whole reason, to get him fit, to get him playing. It wasn't just done for that, and to educate him as well.
It was done because the club probably felt like, not saying the club probably felt like they had a duty to.
But there'll be other players who they didn't do that with.
No, but that's education, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. You learn. You learn because of your Billy Kennys. You learn. You go down the line and you start seeing the signs of what to do and what not to do. If you've got an injured player, keep him involved. Make sure he's at training every day. Make sure that he's doing other things to help with the club. And I think with Josie Baxter, what they've done there is, you know, he said he got the phone call from Bill. Is that, you know, you keep them involved, give them a goal, give them something, you know, something that takes their mind off other things. And I don't even think that Baxter was at that stage. It was just that it was like, what are you doing? Have you got a club? No, well, come here, do a bit of work for us.
Well, he was doing some stuff with the community, wasn't he, as well?
That's what I'm saying. Get your head down, train. You're a product of Everton, so therefore we owe you, you owe us, and let's do it. And it's worked for him, and he's got his head together. And
he's at Oldham, isn't he?
He's at Oldham. I imagine when he's finished, he'll probably become a coach and come back to Everton at some level. And you know, that's. But Billy sadly didn't have that, but he had chances. He had you know, chances at Everton, and Joe Royle gave him a chance at Oldham, and he just couldn't escape, unfortunately. And it's sad, because what it is that it's other people dragging him down, and that's the real sad thing of it.
Well, if you haven't got that network in place, players can slip through, can't they? And it is what it is. But he was certainly one who could have been really good for Everton, and I mean really good for Everton. He could have been one we talked about. He could have been a mainstay. You know, a couple of years later we win the FA Cup under Joe and things like that. So he was a brilliant talent, and sadly the demons and the addictions ended up dragging him down. That's the way it is. You know, you go through this. We've had players. I mean, I look at Franny. Jeffers. You know, Franny was another one you heard about. Not quite at Wayne Rooney's level, but you heard about this kid that great movements. The new Ian Rush scored goals, and he come into the first team and done the same. He scored goals, scored in a derby match. You know, he played in the last derby we won. He set the goal up, and you know, his movements and his runs were brilliant. I mean, we've just done a couple of things from the vault for the patrons, and when you see his movements and the runs he was doing, his finishing, he was brilliant. And he said himself now, you know, he's back at Everton, he's a coach, he said himself he left at the wrong time, he should never have left. He got badly advised by his father-in-law, who wanted money and this, that and the other, you know, more money than Everton were offering, and he fell out with Walter, and you know, and obviously you're a young lad at the time and you think you know everything, and you know, Arsenal came in for him, and Arsenal were a fantastic side, but you had to look at Franny and see that he's from Liverpool and he's got a lot of local mates, and you know, Everton were his club. And
I suppose the big problem for Franny was he was a good player. Up here he was. You see, it can work both ways, can't it? Up here, he had all the trappings of success, but he also probably had people looking out for him and keeping an eye on him. And listen, he was always on the high street. He was always on the high street, and he was always having a pint and all that. Listen, I grew up with loads of people who played for like Everton and Liverpool, and they'd all be in Yates's and Arlington Road, and you know, I knew a lad who played. He used to play for Everton, and then he moved to Torquay, and after every Torquay game would drive home and he'd get to Yates's for last orders and then go to town. That's dedication for you. But Franny had everything, and he was set up here, and then when he moved to London, I think the fact that he had no games, hardly played any games, and had loads of money, just took him out of the game. And not in the same way like Billy Kenny, but just like, I mean, there were stories in the newspapers about women grabbing his ears and all that stuff. But that's what I'm saying.
He still play for us, though.
But I think he lost his love for the game.
Well, we got him back, didn't we, on loan? Moyes brought him back on loan. He scored one goal, then he scored two, he both against Fulham or something like that. And he just wasn't the same.
No, he'd lost his love for the game. You could see that.
And he'd lost that thing of when you're a kid and you get in, your development continues because you play in games. When you miss football, you lose what you were good at, and then he started picking up niggly injuries. What's mad is though, he set a goal up for us against Arsenal, who he was on loan for. He had a shot and the keeper saved it, and Thomas Radzinski put it in. And remember them saying to Wenger, "Is that like do your head?" And he was like, "No, he's Everton's player."
But I remember like when he was like 28 or 29, going to Sheffield Wednesday and just like doing nothing for them, and it was just like, what a sad ending to a player that had so much about him. So, you know, he scored the night Wayne Rooney made his debut for England. Like, he scored the goal. They got beat 2-1 by Australia at Upton Park, and he scored the goal. And it was like, I just, you know, obviously, listen, Wayne went to Man United and everything just worked out for him there, but
but his ability. He
was just an all-round better player. But Franny was a great player, but just he threw it away over money. And as you just said, this progression was stopped. He stopped. I just think he fell out with the game because he just wasn't playing, was earning the money, and it was just like, yeah, well, I'm earning the money to do nothing, you know. And
Too much, far too soon.
But you know, yeah, very sad. Another player around that time was John Oster, who we signed from Grimsby.
And he was the new Ryan Giggs. That's what he was dubbed
Had
as.
all the tricks. Could finish. Had a bit of a nasty streak in him as well, if I remember. Just a bit of a narc.
Just didn't have pace, did he? Didn't really have pace. John Oster.
Wrong play, the wrong time. Just
Howard brought. I remember he scored a chip against Scunthorpe. Brilliant. He scored a goal when we beat Barnsley 4-2, and he like dropped the shoulder twice. And he was a good player. He had a lot of skill, but he didn't. I don't know whether he had the fight for it, and I don't think he was quick enough. And again, he was in a crap team as well, which didn't help him. And I remember the crowd, but he was one who come and everyone was like, you know, Everton beat a host of clubs to sign him, and one of those players, you know, and he's going to be great, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that, and he flattered to deceive and ended up shooting someone, didn't he, at Sunderland in the eye or something, with a starting pistol, and
fair enough.
Done all sorts. But yeah, you know, he was a decent player. He was skillful.
At that time, with so many players, young players who were given the chance. I mean, Michael Branch was another one again. I played with Michael, and again another one. You know, you knew at 11 or 12 he was.
People were talking about him because he was great for England, wasn't he? Scored a lot of goals for the England youth team.
Yeah. But you knew at like 11 and 12 he was gonna. In fact, he played for St Margaret's. He played centre midfield in a lot of games because the teacher was just like, "I'm going to make you a better player by playing in centre midfield." Was a kid who was good. Yeah, he played well. He was a kid who was good at everything.
He was fast.
Played cricket and everything because he wasn't that fast. That he only had to knock a ball a little bit and he'd get between. He was that fast. He was lightning, and his.
He just weirdly at Premier League level. He just couldn't score.
Never had it up there. Never. I remember speaking to him when he went to Wolves, and he was playing wide, and he went, "Well, he said, there's no pressure on me to score." And I thought, well, yeah, there you go. There's no pressure on you to score. So he
was happy out wide.
So he was happy out wide. So you know what I mean? It was that when I heard him say that, it was like, that's why you didn't score
I
goals.
remember him missing shit in the derby. I was surprised. And he had a really good chance. I remember being at United when he might have made his debut. He was 16. He come on, we got beat 2-0, or he might have started. But yeah, he wasn't very good. And he was frustrating because he was one who he told he was going to be, and he done well for England, and he scored at youth level and everything, he banging them in, and it just shows you the difficulty of once you step up into that level. And then after football,
he's had difficulties.
And he's had problems as well.
He always had problems with injuries, and he was supposed to go to Australia and play in Australia, and then he got an injury that stopped him going over there as well, and then he's had problems off the pitch since then as well, and you know, it's just one of those things of, I don't know, it's not. I mean, Man City were going to buy him for £1 million, and Everton were like, no. So I mean, you know,
sad because again, another one who you thought might have done something, but
yeah, Danny Cadamartri, just tripping off the tongue, aren't he?
Danny was weird. Not personally, he was a lovely, you know, he was a nice lad, Danny, and he had a lot of time for people. He did. I mean, he was a show pony as well. He got 15 cars and all that. But when you spoke to him, he was a nice down-to-earth lad. But he broke into the side and scored 6 goals in 7 games. And remember, he had everyone after him, England and everyone. He scored in the derby, and he was a real threat. He was a workhorse, Danny. He had a good bit of ability, strong for his size. He had a good bit of pace about him, and he worked so hard. But I think what happened with Danny Cadamartri for me was, it just all went to his head. It went to his head, and the thing he was really good at was not giving defenders a minute. He stopped doing, and he almost became, it seemed from watching, he almost became a bit arrogant on the pitch, like, I've done it, I've made it now.
I think that's a common theme. I really do. I think a common theme is, and I think it's this City. as well doesn't naturally help that is that when Liverpool do it, I don't know if they do it as much now. I don't think either of us do it as much, but I think they used to be like everyone would just you were public property really early. Everyone was looking for a saviour, and I think the ones that have handled it have kept I've kept like Owen for them. He was like from minute one. He was born professional. That kid.
He was just professional.
He was born professional.
Was tailor-made.
But I think Gerrard had people around him who just kept his feet on the ground, and you didn't.
They kept him out of trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
By whatever means.
That's what I'm saying.
That's money or
people made sure that he went down the right path, no matter what. And maybe if he even went off that path, they made sure he got back on it really quickly. Whereas I think these other players, through whether you can't say through the fault of their own, because we're talking about 19, 20, 21 year olds, and I remember being 21, and I remember being,
But you think
loud.
You're invincible, don't you? You think you're invincible. So if you've got people, in fact, just the stuff we done on Adam O'Loughlin, one of his quotes was, "You live in a bubble, and it's good when people are honest with you because it doesn't go on enough." Was just one of the lines he used, right?
Kanye West,
right? So therefore, these players need some honesty. It's you hit the nail on the head before. About in terms of having everything done for you. Players, their arses wiped for them, everything. They get everything done. And it's like they're almost. Gaz is saying he didn't know how to make a doctor's appointment when he stopped playing football because he'd never had to do it. Yeah. People just. So I don't think we helped them in that way as well. But you're right, they are this city, and I suppose it's like this in the likes of Newcastle, and it's like this in maybe Manchester as well. Maybe not the same level, but this city is so. Like Glasgow, it's exactly the same.
You say that though. I mean, there's the famous story of Ryan Giggs and Lee Sharp being at a party, and Sir Alex Ferguson went. He found out about
someone phoned him.
Yeah, he went. Someone told him, and he went to the party and he fucking dragged them out. And Giggs learned, and Sharp didn't. And Sharp was on his way. Went to Leeds, was made the big sign, and where did his career go? No, wait, look at Ryan Giggs. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You've got to have that as well.
A lot of clubs.
Same with Fowler and Owen. They were in the Liverpool team at the same time. Robbie Fowler was amazing, left foot, but he had other influences as well when he got injured.
Local
influences.
Because at the end of the day, you still have your mates. And you want to look after your mates. You've had mates for years, and they're still your mates. You want to make sure they're taken care of, and then they suddenly are out. Listen, growing up in this city, fucking know all about this. Those people start thinking they're invincible then, and start thinking they're something. And you go into town and you see these people, and then suddenly it's like you're not allowed to say hello to people that you knew, and you're not allowed to go to be honest with these people. And that's half the problem is that. And then all they protect them, or they put people around them who. They didn't go again. We know all these stories, and it's very hard to relate them on camera. But then suddenly, people start getting around them that go who want their pound of flesh. So don't let the people who will speak to them honestly, get a word in edgewise. There's a lot of problems with Wayne Rooney's agents and stuff like that. There are a lot of influence, but my point was being is I think the clubs are starting to get onto that now. I think last season the Nunsworth one, wasn't there something where he said we're going to play in London and so we're going to leave everyone to get there on their own or something, and whoever gets there they're going to be in the team, and they want to go back to players cleaning boots and all this kind of thing.
That's starting to. People are clamouring for that again.
All the basic things that make people appreciate that. They've made nothing or they've done nothing, and you're right. Go on Victor JB's Instagram, right, and just go through the pictures of his cars and in LA and all this, and then ask yourself a question: what has he actually ever achieved in football? And what he's achieved is absolutely zero. He's scored a few goals in the Premier League and a few goals in the Europa League, and apart from that, he has done nothing.
No, but I mean that's where it is, isn't it? I mean, for me, the day they started saying, "Oh, no, young lads they shouldn't be cleaning dressing rooms and they shouldn't be doing because they can concentrate on the football." That's great if they're playing football for 6 hours a day, but they're not. But they're not. So you're not stopping them thinking about football because they're cleaning boots. You're making that. That's a discipline that you're giving those people. It's a down to earth thing, and you're taking away the thing that when they become pros, they have someone else doing it for them.
Well, I suppose how Everton do it now is in a different way, but it's a good. They use the community side of things, so things like the sleep out, things like all the things that Unsworth made them do, I think is a nice happy medium. It's because what it is okay, cleaning boots is sound, but you're just cleaning boots for a professional who earns a lot of money, aren't you? But if you're actually going to a homeless person's,
of course,
you're actually saying, right, well, this is real life. Cleaning someone's boots isn't really clean.
No, but for me, right,
I know.
Me, the whole thing what I think is fundamentally wrong with football, right, is that in general you're working for 3 hours a day and getting rewarded ridiculously, right? So you're getting a way of life that is so alien to 90% of the world, because for most people they have to go to work for 8 hours a day. Some fellas will work 12 hours a day, and women will work, nurses will work, and all of that, right? These lads they drive in their X5s, they have the food, it's all the stuff's laid out for them. They go and get a sauna, a shower, have a swim at Finch Farm, go upstairs to the cafe where there's 5 chefs giving them all of it, sit down, play the PlayStation, get in the big cars and go home and get massively rewarded for it. And I'm talking youth team players as well. Where's the reality in that? There is no reality. Whereas if you're a kid, listen, I had to clean the dressing room, I had to mop up and do the showers and at Burnley I had to brush the terraces, and things like that, because that's what you did. But you know what it done? You had a laugh with your mates doing it. You didn't come in and go training for 2 hours, right? Trackie on, I'm getting off now to do. You were like sit and do something
on your own,
or do whatever. Whereas there it was like finish training, like you go to the list. I'm doing that. We're on that. We're doing that. You do it, and then you'd all go back in the canteen, and you'd have it, and then you'd get your showers and blah. And that got a bond, and loads of people will do that. Now the community side's fantastic, what Everton do, it really is. It's incredible to see those young lads going and sleeping out and all that. But if they still had to do their jobs as well, you would keep them at the club for longer, doing more of a day's work. Now okay, I'm not saying the pros, listen, if you're Phil Jagielka and Leighton Baines, you've worked your career. Both of them started cleaning boots, by the way, when they were kids, right? Probably why Bainesy is the way they are. They're quite down to earth lads, right? I'm not talking about them, but I still feel like they should go and do stuff as well, because I think footballers should be treated the way sportsmen are in America, where you're contracted to your club for 8 hours a day. Now they might need you 8 hours a day, but if they go, listen, 1 o'clock, you're going to.
Well, I think a lot of them are. It's just that clubs don't choose to.
But the clubs need to do it then.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's on the clubs. It's not on the players. The players are going to try and have as much of an easy ride as they possibly can.
But you need to be.
That's the thing. I do think the community side is.
But I think Marco Silva's kind of took that the way Roberto Martinez did. He's been at a few things, Silva, whereas Koeman wouldn't do anything. And he didn't want to be there. And
it starts from there, doesn't it? But even things like what he said about players having to learn the language, they're important things. That it's important to have that kind of discipline. That's going to help everybody. But I think back
to the kids.
But I think the community side really helps, and also, if a young player, if he's got the afternoon off, what you're doing is you're going to. What are you not very good at? What did you not do well in school? You're going to do. If you only got that GCSE, all right, you're going to get this GCSE.
I'm a great believer in, with the clubs now, certainly at the top level, that and certainly my club. I'm not really, other clubs can do whatever they want, but if it was me, I would be creating almost like a hotel.
Yeah, we said
at Finch Farm. you know, where you've got living staff like Dream Team,
Diggs,
remember Dream Team? That's what they
but
have.
Loads won't.
No, but having that where it's literally Diggs, where the lads are there, all the facilities you want, but they're there and they live together, and you know they got people to, and then players young. So if you buy Adam Luchman from London, he comes up, he lives there with other lads. Now okay, he might be 19 and these lads might be 18. It doesn't matter. They still play FIFA together, and you can come and go as you please, but that's where you live.
Yeah.
And then you've got that because
you've got discipline, haven't you?
Well, you've got discipline, but it's also your bloody assets there. They are your assets. So as a young player, you're getting that grounding and that surrounding. But from a club's point of view, you know where they are. They're in at a certain time. They're curfewed. You know that they're all settling in. And I think if we had that in place with some of these lads who were on that list, we might be looking at a different story.
The one that Jack mentioned there was Gerard Deulofeu, who
slightly different, but
slightly different because he's come from abroad and obviously came on loan and will have grown up in what you just talked about.
La
Mesa, you know, it's very, you know, enclosed. It used to be right next to the new camp. I think it's gone out of the city now. He would have been brought up a little bit like that. I think for me, Gerard Deulofeu, when we bought him on loan, I felt like for the first few months he played very much for himself, very much like I'm a Barcelona player, and he never gave that little bit extra. And I think at some point it clicked with him a little bit of what Everton was all about and what football was all about. And then when he came back, I felt like the player we got when he came back was the player who wanted to play for Everton and wanted to do well. But unfortunately, through I think some circumstances out of his control, being a young player, he stopped enjoying it. He stopped enjoying doing what he wanted to do, and then you know, when Koeman came in, it was the final nail. You know, having to actually run was a big problem for him. So no, I think it was actually having to work hard and do things out your comfort zone. He just basically threw the towel in, and that's why he'll never ever be anything more than he is now.
Loads of talent, loads of ability, quick, beat a man, throw a great cross in the box, but ultimately, as Jack said on the video, didn't live up to it. The disappointment of him is so frustrating because he was one. You look at this Everton side now and you think, on his game, top of his game, he'd be fantastic in that side. Does he work as hard as Walcott? No. And if it's a toss of a coin between him and Walcott, you'd take Walcott because you know with Theo that A, he'll get you goals, and B, that he works hard. Okay, he might not have great games all the time, but he's got that with Jerry. And I love Jerry because he did have that unpredictability about him, and he could just roast the fullback. You know, and in fact the last goal he ever set up for us, he had Ben Chilwell inside out. He came on for that last half an hour. Of that goal came in at half time, looked knackered after 20 minutes, but still, it's for our goal at Romskud. He just roasted Chilwell like he wasn't even there. He had that ability about him. He was a threat, he was dangerous, but he never kicked on. So you got to a level with him where you were thinking, you need to work harder now, mate, and grasp this, because you've got everything in your locker that can take you there. But he, for whatever reason, I don't know whether he thought he was too good to do the hard work, or I just don't know whether he was fit enough.
He was never fit enough.
But I also think he was managed wrongly.
But he was never fit enough, and if you've got a player, he used to come off the bench and be blown out of his arse after 10 minutes, and you've got a player that just generally isn't fit enough, then what do you do with him? Koeman obviously didn't fancy him because his levels were so poor fitness wise, and so what do you do with, you need to play with explosive talent, and how can you do that?
Well for Milan.
It's slower though, isn't it? But that's like saying Adam Luchman did well for Leipzig.
I'm saying, so the talent's there.
Talent's there.
Quite clearly.
You know, Barca took him back and he had a couple of good games, and when they brought better players in, he went out the team, and now he's at Watford. And, you know, I think he got the injury against us, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's only just coming back now, but If you want to be fit, you got to dedicate yourself, and I just don't think he was too busy walking his dog in Sefton Park.
Having selfies with
you know what I mean?
Well, he's got a kid now, hasn't he? You know, and that might focus him slightly. Well, it might do.
It might do, but I don't think it will.
Well,
I just think you learn that when you're young, though. You learn that when you're young, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's so important that players are grounded in reality, and I don't know. I just think
they get too much too soon.
But that's it. You're right.
That's the problem.
I'm not opened up to.
I've got no problem with I have, but I mean, I understand it's very difficult to flip something back around that's gone so far the other way. But if you're a young player and I sign you and your agent's like, listen, he'll come, but he wants like 30 grand a week or whatever as a young kid, there should be something in place that's like, we'll pay you 30 grand a week, right? But you're actually only getting 15 grand of it, and the other 15 grand's going in a trust fund for you, or whatever maybe for when you're older.
I think there's a lot of things that you could do. Excuse me. I think there's a lot of another thing I'd do, right? And this might sound dead stupid and petty, but I'd make them all like drive a club car, and that's the only car they could drive, and it'd be like a dead basic. I don't know, even like a basic Audi, which, all right, nice cars, but just basic and not like. So suddenly it's not again, because I imagine there's this like, imagine one day one drives and and then it's the next day someone else comes in. I'd have them all driving the same cars. I know some clubs, and I don't know if this is right or not, we'll have them like they've all got to have black boots, and there's not to be any coloured boots and things like that. And even things like that, that just seems like what's the point in that? But you know what? That's actually clever on another level, because that might keep like the influences of an agent trying to force a boot deal on them and things like that. Do you know things like, no, you're concentrating on the game. You are concentrating on the game.
Too much other stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Involved. Seamus Coleman said that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Seamus Coleman's fantastic professional, and he's grounded, and he's had to fight for everything he's got. And he says about the young lads, his attitude's brilliant now, still. You know, when he's been Premier League footballer for nearly 10 years, his attitude's brilliant, and he says you see them coming in. And he's quite clearly talking about lads who've come into Everton, because that's his experience of them. They come in, you know, all the cars, the top cars, and the gear on, and you know, they're bouncing in like they've done it, and they haven't done anything. And that's the thing about it, isn't it? Because they've got everything, so it almost becomes. And I remember Jim Smith saying this years ago, that football seems to get in the way of a lot of players' lives. It's like it becomes an inconvenience almost, because I want this money, and I've got that bird with the massive tits, and I want this, and I've got that, and I've got that. And it's the football's incidental, when it should all, the football should be there.
We said this in the summer when we smoked him in the squad, and we were like, what other professions, right, would you have, you know, players sitting on the sideline for months at a time earning fantastic money? What other world would that happen? You know, I think in some of the American sports, American sports are brutal. You know, I think the likes of baseball, you can only have like 25 in your squad, and the rest you're gone. You're gone. If you need to sign a 25th player or whatever it is, if you've got 25, then the one that needs to go goes. You get sent back down, you know, to the minor leagues or whatever. You know, American football's, you listen to them and they're like, we need to get to the playoffs, because that's where our bonus comes from. You know, that's where we earn our money. We've only got a short career. You know, where do we earn our money?
Those other ones should be like pay related pay then.
Yeah,
play related pay that. You know, you can earn. I'll give you the contract for 40 grand a week, but if you don't play,
I was watching.
You're earning 10
I've been watching, you know, a documentary, and it's a few years old. It's like the Man City one, but it's about American football. It was the Cardinals, and because it was a few years old, they're just, you know, what they're doing now. And there's this player, and he's like one of their top players. And he was at another club. And I was like, wonder what happened. He was like, they basically asked him to take a pay cut, and he said no. So they just cut his contract and got rid of him. It's like, no, like, you've got a 5-year deal. It's like, no, we can cut your contract and you're gone. And they got rid of me, sat somewhere else now. It's like that that lack of insurance for these players means that they will fight as hard as they can. And I just think, you know, these players get signed onto long contracts, and then suddenly, where's your focus? And you know, we're going to talk about a couple here, like John Paul Kissack and George Green. I know we spoke already about a couple, but these two lads didn't even make it into the first team, and yet there was a buzz about both of them. George Green came in from Bradford. John Paul Kissack had been, you know, a kid all his life, and I don't know. I mean, John Paul Kissack, I don't know what really happened with him and such. I think he might have just fell out of love with the game. He got to, you know, maybe 18. You seen his hair was dead long, and I mean, again, you wear things. Andy van der Meijden didn't have too many sort of friends at the club, so you know, you can imagine someone like Andy van der Meijden, if you're 16, 17, 18, oh, do you want to, you know, should we go out for a pint? Oh, what hell, Andy van der Meijden, and sort of fell in with him, and then then I think music, I'm sure he was like, oh, I'm going to leave Everton, I'm going to be in a band or something. Other things started becoming more important, but he wasn't in a position where he made loads of money, he hadn't made any money, and now I think he's playing 8-tier football or something at 28.
Because it can easily happen. Because it's football's unforgiving. It's a there's that many people want to do it. You've got to fight for every single thing, and your levels drop. If you get so far up the ladder, you get big rewards for having to do very little. Now, he was just before those younger players got massive rewards. You know, this was 10 years ago. In the last, you got massive rewards if you got into the first team. Now they're getting massive rewards for just being in the youth team, which they weren't getting there.
I think,
but for him, there was a buzz about him. He was a very clever player, but he didn't have any pace, and that was the thing. Didn't he play in a European game?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure he played against Barty or the other.
The problem with that is, though, and I'd say this is a football problem as well, is that in the last 10 years, the rules on getting players have been relaxed so much that you could go to anywhere now. Everton could go to a club. I mean, this is part of the reason why they're getting done for tapping up, and this is the reason why a lot of clubs are going to get being done for tapping up, is because when they become 16, you can have them. They're there. You pay a nominal fee, or some of them are just free agents when they're 16, because that's when they become. They couldn't have a contract before that, but they couldn't really leave before that. At 16, suddenly, they're open.
It's open, yeah.
So that's where it's like they're going to players when they're 14 and going, we want you when you're 16, and that's why they're getting done for tapping up. But they've relaxed the law so much on players now that I think the most anyone can get now is something like £500,000. So if you go and find a player and you can have him for £500,000, and you know Man United want him, Liverpool want him, City want him, I mean, that's just in our local area. You're going to throw a massive contract on him when he's 15, 16, 17, because you want to get him. You want him, so you've got a better, and that's
the issue.
That's another problem.
But that could be put to good use, couldn't it? That kid could still get that contract, that money, but in a different way, so that it's not.
But really, he shouldn't get that money. The club that's developed and should get that money.
No, that's a fundamental problem.
That's the biggest problem for me.
That's a fundamental problem. It's not right. Of course, it's not. But we're talking players here, not what.
No, I know, but if it's going to the players, then the players are going to feel like they've already made it, and then suddenly.
Well, then that's what I mean. This is why they fall off the game. George Green, we paid £2 million for him from Bradford, or it could have risen to £2 million when we got him. Paid big money for him. He was 15 at the time. He was dubbed the new Paul Gascoigne. Everyone wanted him. Massive talent. Come to Everton, he scored a heel flick in one of his first games. Remember, he got over the keeper, and he was running games, and everyone was like, "This a year, he's in the first team, guaranteed." Got injured, and then it started, and he fell out. You know, when he was injured, he started turning up late and blah de blah, and the support wasn't really in place for him. That should have been. He should have got a grip of him, and he didn't. And he said himself, he started getting involved in other stuff, and it just become less and less, and Everton kept going to your last chance, but not really doing anything with it. And in the end, he left the club. You know, he left the club.
End of his contract, didn't he?
The end of it, and that was it. He was gone. The club didn't want him. He wasn't offering anything. And he fell away in a part of addiction and everything. And luckily now he's
mental health addiction.
His mental health struggle because of all of that thing, because the support wasn't there. You know, and he's got a family now, and hopefully, you know, he's playing football again. He seems happy again.
But he's missed those years.
But he's missed the development
years
and his ability. Well, he went to Burnley. You know, he had a chance at Burnley, didn't make it. He'd gone and played abroad for a bit, hadn't he? He didn't he go somewhere in Norway or something? You know, he's had a couple of these moves. Then he ended up, you know, bobbing around a little bit. Whereas all of those years of that development, he could have been in Everton's first team if someone had gripped him and got him, and if he'd have been at that, like that digs that I'm talking about, that hotel type thing with other lads, he might have fell off the, you know. So there's all of that responsibility, and he's one that, who knows, he might have been a Paul Gascoigne-esque type play. He might never have been as good as Gazza, he probably wasn't, but he might have been someone who goes on to have a fantastic football career, and it's gone, and it goes so quickly when you're playing, and you miss 6 months as a player, a year as a player, now you struggle. You do, because the game's moving on, and there's that many people want to do it, and there's different things, and you fall out of that. There's too many vices, and once you start going down that line, then your mental health suffers, which is what's happening to yours. And he's had a thingy. But in terms of, you know, there's a player there very quickly, we'll just touch on Ross Barkley, who was someone who was gemmed. There was big noise about. I remember going to Fulham and he was sub at 16, you know, and this big, and then he had a double leg break and that knocked him back. But he got in, and you seen Ross when he came in, and you know, people were talking about him. He'd been running games for years because of his physique, and he come in and you were looking and thinking, this kid's got everything. He can run with the ball, he's powerful, he's quick, he can dribble, he can shoot with both feet. And at one stage, you know, you're talking about him as being Zidane-like, and this, that and the other. And he's a perfect case of me of having the wrong manager stagnating his career for him. There's a responsibility on Ross, there is, of course. But we sat in the room with the manager who told us that he wouldn't want any other footballer in the world, because Ross Barkley was the best player in the world. You know, and if you've got someone who, it's okay going, this kid is special, and if we get him right, he could be one of the best players in England. Ross has said, you know, made some comments a couple of weeks ago, last week, whenever it was, about he wasn't coached at Everton, and some people took umbrage with it and spat the dummy out because they don't like what he did. But he's right, as far as I'm concerned. We said it on here many a time. He's right, he wasn't coached. You could tell he wasn't coached. You know, and some players are intelligent and will learn the game and look at the game and make instant assessments. Wayne Rooney's the biggest one I've seen. He had that intelligence at 16. Other players will come in and get it, and the games will teach them where to go. Ross has not had that football intelligence. So what Ross Barkley needed was to be told where to go. Shown here, this is what you do. You watch this back, this is what you do. And I think someone like Marco Silva would have actually been perfect for him. Even the fella across the park, if they had Klopp. But, you know, and he might do it at Chelsea.
Well, I think that's why he will do it at Chelsea. I think he will. He'll
have to.
He'll have to, because I said this last week when we done a video about it. He gone in there, he was like fourth choice, and it was either, well, you do it here or you don't. And I think that's what will be, you know, no one's going to look after him at Chelsea in terms of like, you're special, you have to fight. And I think he will. He's back in the England squad, and I think he's alright. He might never get to that level that we thought he might, because again, it's the missed opportunities, the missed years.
It's a disappointment though when you see the way he ended up at Everton, because you looked at him and certainly that first season under Martinez, you could see the ability that was there.
What I think is interesting is, and that sort of leads us on to the last couple of years, do you think players are starting, that we've got now a level of player that have got an intelligence and a want, that they understand all this and they are now willing to do something about it? So Adam Ola Luckman at the moment, you know, he wanted to go to Germany, last year he didn't want to go to Derby, he wanted to go to Germany, and we know there's a couple of players in Germany now at the moment, and that's where they see a career path. So do you think that maybe some of this is starting to rub off on players now, and they're starting to say, I want to have a good career, I want to be a good player, I need to go and do this at this club because that's what will help me become the player I want to be. I'm not interested in all this other nonsense. I want to be a good player, but I'm not going to do it sitting at on the bench at this club.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it before, education. I think there's a bit more education. I think maybe the clubs are taking a little bit more responsibility, mental health wise as well, because the young lads with expectations and other things. I think the Premier League particularly is unforgiving, and so if you miss period of time, you don't develop as a player, or you know, this is why, you know, you see players out and they come back and they're not quite the same. And you're going, oh, he's lost that. Well, he probably hasn't lost anything other than he hasn't played that amount of time, and the game's moved on. So the likes of someone like Ademola Lookman, it was a very, I don't know who made the decision, but he turned Derby down on Everton's recommendation, well, on Sam Allardyce's recommendation, and said, no, I want to go to Germany. And he went to Germany and had a great time, and that shows a level of maturity. That shows someone who's willing to go, you know, well, I'll go to Germany, I'm a young lad, I'm going to go and try my luck here. We've seen it with Jadon Sancho, who's been fantastic over there, and other players are trying to get over there as well, out there. It's interesting for me. I want to see what impact the clubs are going to do, you know, how the clubs are handling this as we go forward. But look, I've put Kieran Dowell on there as these two potential who could slip through the net. Lookman is definitely one. He's got the ability. Yeah. He's got that, no question about it. Can he do it? We'll know what's in here with Ademola Lookman. If he's about to do what he said, and which is get his head down, knuckle down, not fantastic. Kieran Dowell worries me, and he worries me because he's got the physique. Yeah. He's a big lad. He's got a wand of a left foot, and he seemed to have an intelligence on the pitch. But we watched him 2 weeks ago. We got a chance the other week against Southampton in the cup. Played okay against Rotherham in the second round, which is obviously a league below their level. He was used to that last year. He played at that level. He still wasn't in that game a lot, by the way, but he was okay. But against Southampton the other week, he was just on the periphery. He was everything me and you have seen from him when we watched the 23s. Yeah.
He doesn't worry me because I simply don't think he's ever had it, and I've never fallen into the trap of thinking he has got it. I think there's an ability there. There's an ability, but so what? There's not a game there. There's an ability to get the ball on his left foot. He's like a fucking special teams in American football. The situations he sets up, that set up for him to do what he does. That's not how football works. That's a carnival show somewhere where you could, you know, that's not that's a level on FIFA. That's a training exercise on PES. What he can actually do is I have never been carried away by Dowell like maybe some other people have, and I honestly don't think he's going to make it at Everton. But I've never ever thought that. I've never been excited about him. When he played for the under-23, some of the goals I was like, wow. The goal he scored last year in the game in Africa, I was like, wow. But I've never sat back and gone, oh, you're all-round game, because I just don't see what I don't see what he's got. He's not fast. He's not. Technically, he's got something, but see, this is what makes you laugh when you look at someone like Tom Davies and people go, he's rubbish, and you go, no, mate, he's got a brain in his head. He knows how it all works. Sometimes he lets himself down by not giving a 5-yard pass, or not giving a 5-yard pass, or whatever. But I look at someone Kieran Dowell and go, you don't know how to play football. Not at the level that's needed. Not at the level that's needed. And again, I put that down to the fact that, has he ever been pushed? Last year at Forest, when he was pushed, he was out the team. The manager came in and asked him to work hard, and he couldn't do it. And I think that's why there's an influx, I think, of players in our leagues from Europe that have played in shitty leagues, in shitty facilities, that actually have a little bit of hunger to go that little bit further, that our players just don't have, and he's another one.
Well, I mean, look, Nicola Vlasic is basically the same age as him.
Yeah.
So you trust Vlasic more than you trust Al, wouldn't you?
Vlasic is out there scoring goals against Real
No,
Madrid.
but anyway, you put...
No, because
Vlasic played games last year for us.
He just, I don't know if he knows how to play football.
I think the problem with Dowell is, and I've seen it the other week against Southampton, is that he does one thing brilliant, so he'll flick a great little ball around the corner, but he just runs around, and the game kind of goes on.
Doesn't influence games.
And the same when we see him for the 23s. The game is like getting played there, and he's just there. And every now and again it'll come and he'll get it and just flick it, and it'll be a good ball, but then he won't see the ball for 15 minutes. And
stands the same place.
The biggest red flag to me for him was when me and you went to the 23s and Koeman was there, remember? And it was at that time we'd had a few injuries, so there was potentially an opportunity for him to get into the first team squad. We were lacking something, and that night Koeman was there, and you're thinking he's going to be running this bollocks off here. Kenny was up and down, he was flying into tackles, and I remember Joe Williams was pulling up, and he done nothing.
Liam Walsh
until 88 minutes, and then he banged one in.
Liam Walsh done more than he did.
Yeah, he did.
Liam Walsh now is at Bristol, and people looked at, but it's sad. The problem is with some of these players, right? Not all of them, but some of them, and Kieran Dowell fits into it perfectly. They're in every age group, right? They're the best player, and they're protected.
Yeah.
And everything goes through them. And then suddenly when they're not the best player, and I said this before, suddenly when they're not the best player and they're asked to do different things, they don't want to do those different things. Whereas players that have to fight and scrap and have to try harder at every level, end up being better players. The best one didn't play for us. Well, one did play for us and one didn't. One who didn't play for us was Gary Neville. Said he was never that good.
No.
Worked hard every year to try and be better and better and better, give him the edge. Tony Hibbert. Tony Hibbert. Wasn't even a right back.
No, he wasn't.
But he fought every year to be the right back and got in.
100%.
Give you what he had.
Give you everything.
Give you what he had. And always fought for you because he knew he had to stay in that team, to be a professional footballer. And this all goes back to having things too easy. It all goes back to that thing of just having, I know,
in a bubble,
not every single one of them is the same, but possibly now.
No, but we're talking about now.
And we're talking also about teams that are, we've had loads of last few. Ryan Ledson should be on this list. Ryan Ledson, another one, an amazing player, had everything about him. He
was a bit too slow.
Fucking Luke Garbett is another one who should be on this list.
Yeah, but I could have put loads on.
I know, just but that's what I'm saying. Players, Luke Garbett's the ultimate one, given everything he wanted. Can't, doesn't have to put it together, so doesn't have to. No one's ever forced him. Imagine if he said to him, "You're not getting a pay packet this week, unless you play for the under-23s or the first team. You ain't getting, and if you play for the under-23s, you're getting 500 quid, and if you play for the first team, you're getting £1,000. If you get a win, you're getting £3,000. If you get an assist, you're getting £10,000. If you score a goal, you're getting £20,000. Imagine if that was the scale. Imagine that was the scale. There was a difference of 500 quid for playing for the under-23s, right? To £20,000 if you scored for the first team. You watch how fucking good he is then. You fucking watch how good he is then.
How many juice bars he's got
instead of fucking rolling down Duke Street at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. I've seen you. I've seen a few of you. Doesn't get past me, you know.
Finish it there. That's it. No other
I've seen John Joe Kenny as well, knocking around town at 4 o'clock in the morning. The difference is he probably played for the first team that day and had a decent game and worked hard and deserved a night out.
And we'll be back in on the Monday.
Exactly. Fucking shower. We'll see you later.